Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. I'd like to call to order the Board of Education meeting, August 21st, 2018, at the Sarah Noble Intermediate School. If you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance in a brief moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And thank you. Okay, at this time, I'll entertain any public comment.
Yes, we have Miss Beverly Ryan.
Hello, I think I have to say, my name is Beverly Ryan. I live at 5 Fox Ridge Drive in New Milford. I'm here representing the Green Wave Gridiron Club. We were founded in 2015 and have received our 501c3 status as of last October. What we do is try to fundraise for mainly the football program in town. We have organized youth clinics for the summer and the winter. We sponsor summer programs for the football program at the high school. I don't know if you've heard of the Brookfield Passing League. We sponsor that, the Lineman Challenge, the Grip It and Rip It tournament. We've also done coaches clinics. We organize also football fundraisers. We run the concession stands at home games. And organize whatever featured weekly event at the football games. We've purchased with our fundraising that we've done. We've purchased Guardian helmets covers, which help with the concussion protocol. Training equipment, the Huddle program. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with that. It's a program where the games are videotaped and they're entered into a software program, and each play is broken down. The coaches can use the film to better the team, as well as the players can use that to possibly future benefit applying for colleges and so forth. We also instituted the Hall of Fame program, the 50th anniversary celebration of the football program. So our fundraising has really benefited the program. This year, one of our major fundraising programs that we've undertaken is bringing the Wizards to town. Okay? The Wizards, I guess, came to town 20 years ago. I've heard 23 years ago. The basketball program attempted to bring them to town last year, and it kind of fizzled. They started late. It didn't gain momentum. So we've taken it on this year. We're working with the football. The football program is working with the basketball program, and we've selected a date, October 5th. I know reading the calendar, that is also a teacher's work day. But that was the only day that the football program didn't have a game. So that's why we selected it. So I'm here just to inform you what we're doing. We also the program targets the smaller kids. So the 4 schools, including Scotticoke, the 2 elementary schools and the middle school. The Wizards have a program, an assembly program that they charge for. It's $700 or $1,000 for their time when they come to each school. As part of this program, they come in for free. It's a 20-minute program. They come in and they can talk about bullying. They can talk about being kind. There's a lot of different subjects, and I've sent a letter. I believe, Mr. Tracy, you've gotten a copy. I sent it out to all of the principals outlining the program. The assembly dates we've been given, we have to select one. It's October 1st, October 2nd, and October 3rd, and then the event is October 5th. We do have these flyers, and Ms. Silverman just informed me that they can't go out individually to each child, but that we can leave them at the doors of the schools, and if they want to pick them up, they can. So this is a flyer that's supposed to go out before the event, before the assembly. And then this flyer here is, guess who I saw today? Kind of get excitement built up. So I'm just here to make you aware of what we're doing and ask for your support. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay, sensing none, we'll move on to the PTO report. And it's a little early in the year for that, so we'll give them a chance to wait for school to start up. And the same would be true with the student representatives. We'll give them a chance to go to school first. And from there, we'll move on to the approval of minutes. I need a motion to approve the following Board of Education minutes, special meeting minutes, July 17, 2018.
So moved.
Is there any discussion? Those in favor? That's unanimous. Thank you. And I need a motion to approve the following Board of Education meeting minutes, regular meeting minutes of July 17th, 2018.
So moved. Second.
And is there any discussion? Those in favor? And that's unanimous. And I need a motion to approve the following Board of Education meeting minutes, special meeting minutes, July 23rd, 2018.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Those in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you. And I need a motion to approve the following Board of Education meeting minutes, special meeting minutes, August 2nd, 2018.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? And abstentions? Thank you. Almost done. And I need a motion to approve the following Board of Education meeting minutes, special meeting minutes, August 8th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
And is there any discussion? Those in favor? Opposed? And abstentions? Thank you. Okay, and our interim superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the board again for the opportunity to come back and pitch in here for the interim. Had a chance to reconnect with some colleagues that were here the last time I was here, who have stuck with it through thick and thin. And of course, meet a lot of new folks, including the new teachers that are coming on. And so far, so good. After 3 days, I'm having a good time.
Next week.
It only gets better.
All right. But I had a chance in that period, and actually a few days before, to visit all the schools, spend some time with each of the principals. We had a very informative administrative retreat that Alicia organized, that I was able to be there for most of it and learn a little bit about what's being done in terms of teacher development and evaluation, so that was good. Had a chance to meet the New Milford Education Association leadership, and this morning spent some time with the new teachers who are getting their orientation program as they arrive in the district. So a lot going on, and a lot to be proud of. I just want to mention a couple of things to the board. Coming up next week, August 27th, we have our faculty convocation, 8 o'clock in the morning at New Milford High School. You're all welcome. That's our chance to welcome the faculty and the entire staff back. We'll find out who the Teacher of the Year is going to be, and then teachers will be engaged in some productive professional development activity for the balance of the day. So Monday, October 27th, High School Theater. We hope you can join us.
What time?
8 o'clock, right? I'm looking at the lady who does
Come for some light refreshments, 7:30, if you're an early bird.
7:30 for refreshments, 8 o'clock kickoff. And then finally, back to school, August 29th. I'm going to try my hand at, not driving, but riding one of your school buses to meet some kids as they come back to school, and maybe meet some of the nervous kindergarten parents as they put their kids on the bus. And so that'll be an interesting way to see the town. That's it for me. Thanks.
Okay. That's quite a ride. Just don't go on Long Mountain. They're repairing it right now.
I got bus 18. I don't know where that goes, but I'll find out.
But anyway, well, and yes, of course, I'd like to welcome Dr. Tracy back as the interim. As you can see, he's been really busy meeting the district, getting it acclimated, and moving full steam ahead. Also, if it's still not too late, if any of you would like to go to the CABE convention, there's still, see Pat or give Pat Silverman a call. We can get you registered, and you're welcome at any time. And we look forward to the opening day of school next week. I'm sure all the students do as well, and so that's where we're at there. Okay, and now we'll move on to the committee reports. Facilities. Brian?
Sure. Well, as everybody knows, we have a pretty weighty discussion in front of the facilities with the roof for the high school after the damage from the tornadoes. And that was really the big discussion area at our meeting. And at this point, we're going ahead and we're looking at the options of putting solar on the roof. We will, we have not had the insurance company hasn't gotten back to us with the amount with what we're gonna get from the damage. They're most likely gonna give us, to repair the roof, but at this point, the roof is 18 years old and it's 20-year cycle, so we're gonna look to replace it because the materials wouldn't match with the current roof, and we're going to, at this point, we're slowly moving forward with that. Well, not slowly, because we do have an agenda. We want to get it started by the fall, before winter comes. At this point, the insurance company will pay, we still have tarps on the roof. The insurance company will pay for any damages to those tarps. The roofs have not been leaking. The insurance company will pay for any repairs that we have to do, and before we start the roof project. We are going to be looking into the benefit or the possibility of putting solar. We'll be looking into the possibility of putting a metal roof on there, as was recommended when the building was built, and also the cost of putting asphalt. And we're going to weigh all the options and come up with the best one, I guess. find out. So, and we'll go from there. Like I said, we're hopefully going to see this moving before winter. But at this point, we're just kind of in the exploration phase.
Thank you. And operations, Wendy?
We have several things, they're presented on the agenda this evening for items of information and discussion. We're not actually approving them because of the schedule over the summer. But we did have our discussion on our budget position and purchase resolution and budget transfers, which at this point are at the beginning of the year at minimum. There was some discussion about the security grant, in which goes back to all the way to 2012, and which was completed in June. And we filed that paperwork, and we'll watch that to see what happens when it is applied, how much is applied, when it comes in, and so we're excited that we'll see some reimbursement in some fashion. We also have our end of the year balance. It's an unaudited amount, and I would hope that in September we'll put this on the operations agenda so the board can take a formal motion to ask for the end of the year balance to be placed in the capital reserve pending full audit, and follow up with the town that perhaps in January or February they'll put it on the council for formal action. We have a revised Exhibit A, so we have the normal data there. We had, I have a question actually. We had done the signatory changes of the district accounts at operations to catch us up with the name changes for Dr. Tracy, but I don't see them on the agenda for, unless I'm missing it, for action. And the board does need to approve those.
No, it's not on the agenda, you're correct.
Right. So my suggestion perhaps is when we get to that portion of the agenda, we can make a motion. It's not a special meeting to amend the agenda. They has to be done. So to add that to the board agenda so we can at least approve the signatory changes. Because the motion at operations said we send it to the full board to approve. And Exhibit B is not on the agenda,
Okay. Thank you.
unless am I missing it, somebody? Okay.
No.
Okay, great. So I think we might want to do that, to go on record for that, because it has to be done, obviously. So that takes care of that, and the rest is, when we get to that portion of the agenda, if anybody has any questions under the financial pieces, I'd be happy to go through it.
Yeah, we can put, for 10, yeah, we'll have to make a separate entry for it.
You might want to just make it as an item D under, actually it's discussion and possible action, so it would, you'll add it to, under discussion and possible action, it would be, I guess, item B, Exhibit B from operations,
Yeah,
to the change to the signatory on district accounts. Exhibit B is presented by the operations committee. You'll need a motion to amend that when you get there. It's just a formality, but
yeah,
it's
but,
extremely
well,
important.
it makes it legal, so that's always a
We
good
need to do
thing.
that.
Thank you very much for
Yep.
that. And, policy.
Thanks, Dave. No August meeting, but I'm looking forward to building an agenda for our September 4th meeting for policy. And you'll see tonight policies, and there's a bylaw in there for approval tonight. This is the third time through. So those are up, and we're also looking, we had talked as a policy subcommittee at tackling the 2000 series, so that might be an option for us into in the September meeting, but I also know there's usually pending or possible legislative updates that we'll have. They usually come into October that we may have to deal with too. So we want to kind of placehold some ideas there, but I look forward to working with Dr. Tracy on helping to build that agenda. With the organization of the subcommittees now, essentially we have 2 Tuesdays feed the third Tuesday for subcommittees. So it stacks really nicely, but it also sneaks up really quick on us. So we'll be there for September 4th. Thank you, David.
Okay, thank you. And Committee on Learning.
We also did not have a meeting this month. Our next meeting will also be on September 4th, and Alicia and I will be speaking this week to start talking about our agenda. And moving forward for this school year.
Great, thank you. And Ed Advance?
Ed
Eileen?
Advance, okay, thank you. Next meeting for Ed Advance, I don't think they had them during summer, but the next meeting will be September 6th, which I will not be able to make. But Jeff, who's the director of Ed Advance, is extremely helpful. And I've talked to him, he says there's no changes for new Milford students in terms of Ed Advance. He does want to meet with, he tries to meet with all superintendents, including the interim, so you'll get a call from Jeff. He wants to meet with you
Good.
and talk to you about what Ed Advance and you can do together. They are finalizing the two buildings, the schools that they took over in Torrington. One's going to be special ed, and the other one's going to be Head Start. And they are all set, they're renovated, all they have to do is sign the legal documents to put the title into Ed Advance. Access South, which is where some people know very well, they're up slightly in their number of students. They're 25 from the start, and they need about, that's good because they need about 20 to break even. So they are a for-profit business. So he said they need about 20 to break even, so they have 25 this year. Jeff would also like to have 10 to 15 minutes in front of the board. He was blatantly said he wants to sell Ed Advance advantages. So he will come and request that formally. So in the year 1819, this year, school year, there's 5 students in the Access program in Danbury. Okay.
Thank you. And CABE, I think, actually, I'll just repeat myself from earlier. As far as CABE is concerned, if you do want to attend their convention, it's still open to any of you, and give Pat a call. And then Eileen, for the magnet school.
No. Negotiations.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yes, negotiations. We're currently working on 3 of the bargaining units. So it's a busy time for the negotiation committee. We're with the nurses, secretaries, and we've begun the teachers. So as we move forward and progress, we'll bring whatever action to the board.
Thank you. Now the magnet school.
Magnet School, I put in a call and I got no response, so I have nothing to report.
Okay. All
I'll
right.
keep on top of them.
Thank you. Okay. I need a motion to approve the following policies. 1,000, concept, goals, and roles in community relations. 2, 1,112, news media relationships. 3, 1,112.5, media access to students. And 4, 1,120, public participation at Board of Education meetings. And 5, 9321, time, place, and notification of meetings.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Just a question on why it says policy reviewed October 15, 2013. Will a line go in there, policy revised on all of them? It says 2013. So it says reviewed. Will it become revised formally and added onto that line on the bottom of them?
Yes, that's
Okay.
the procedure. You, in fact, you'll get copies to put into your policy
Finalized.
policy
copies,
books.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Oh, Joe, I thought you were pointing to somebody else.
Short comment on public participation. It's something that's always been a concern of mine from my time here and over at council, and I'll say I like our policy. It gives flexibility to the chair and the board to allow people to speak before us, even more if needed, the 3 minutes. We've been very flexible here. I think personally 3 minutes is short, but I've never seen us cut anybody off unless they went on ad nauseum. And I think it's important. Unfortunately, we don't get enough public participation here. But when we do, it's important that we hear what they have to say. And I think it speaks volumes for the way we handle it in comparison to the town council, who I think is too restrictive on the community when they speak before those who oversee their entire community. So I have
major issues there, and perhaps they can learn from us here. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any further discussion or comments? Okay. Sensing none, those in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you. Okay, moving on to,
Oh, David,
yes, ma'am.
need to, can I make a motion to amend the agenda and add item Exhibit B, changes to the signatories of district accounts?
Absolutely.
For 9B, for discussion and possible action?
Yes.
Second?
I'm just getting it
That's okay.
done.
And the vote is to amend. and
Yeah,
then
we
go
have to,
back into
yeah,
the main.
right. Okay, we're going to need a two-thirds vote to amend the agenda. So those in favor of the proposed amendment? Okay.
And that's the amendment. And so I'll need a motion, I'd like to make a motion
No.
to bring the changes of signatories on district accounts as presented in Exhibit B at operations.
So moved.
Well, was that a?
That's the motion.
That was the motion, so you need the second.
Okay.
And now the motion is open for
Oh,
discussion.
okay. Now we have a-
An explanation, if
Busy.
there are any questions. Basically, we have a chart of accounts, we have signatories
Right.
required on each, and with the change, with the addition of Dr. Tracy, we're bringing.
Correct.
We're correcting who's on what accounts. And there's a full list of accounts that was given out at operations, if there's any questions.
Any further questions or comments?
Good catch. Thank you.
I haven't seen them, so I don't know if I'm gonna vote for it, because I haven't seen it. It's not in the back in here.
It was in the operation, or it
It
was
should
in
be
the
in the
minutes
operations,
that were sent,
yeah.
right?
All right, good enough.
Yeah, I didn't see the operation, or the facilities.
The operations is at the end. It's at the very last. the next
Oh,
one.
Right, there is actually not an attachment. There is all of the other documents
Right.
from operations, but the actual chart of accounts is not in the board packet, but I see.
I'll believe it. That's it. I just,
But as we, and I believe Mr. Givione, Ms. Baldelli, Dr. Tracy, and Mr. Corpo, I'm not quite sure, the three are listed throughout the accounts. So,
It was in the electronic.
Three.
Dr. Tracy,
Self,
myself,
and-
and most of them, and the student activity council.
That's it.
At each one of the schools list the principal. as
That's
well.
it, thank you. Thank
Okay.
you. So there's a long list. I put your name all over the place.
It's okay, got it.
No, it's okay, it's okay.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, those in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you, thank you. Okay, items for information and discussion, Exhibit A, personnel certified, non-certified appointments, resignations, and leaves of absence dated August 21, 2018. Any questions there?
This is revised, and how are we doing?
Well, the revisions, a
Yep.
couple of head teacher stipends, some tutors, 2 resignations. We've hired to date 15 new teachers. We have 3 more interviews to do tomorrow, and we have 4 vacancies right now.
Great.
So we're moving along. We still have a few more days.
Thank you.
Okay, yes.
I have a question. And I'm not sure if this is the appropriate time to ask it. However, I'm wondering, with our enrollment of kindergartners, that, seems to roll all the way through the beginning of the year and then on some. Have there been any discussions about where we are with enrollment at both of our schools, and if we are going to have to look to add a teacher at any of the schools to handle the influx of students coming in? Because from what I understand, we have met our projections at Northville, so we're running higher there, but also at Hill and Plain, we're also holding steady at 20 to 21 students, and so that's really it's really a lot of students for kindergarten. So I'm wondering what our plan is for that.
Yeah, we have been having some discussions, Ms. DeCorpo, Ms. Baldelli, and myself, and the two elementary principals, watching that and considering whether we need to come to you for an additional position or whether we can move a position from one school to the other to try to get the class sizes averages in the two schools as close as they reasonably can be. We don't want a noticeable discrepancy one school
Agreed.
to the other. And so, within the next day or two, I think we're gonna have to come to some decisions on that. I don't know if Ms. Baldelli or Ms. DeCorpo, you wanna add to that? You would know better than I what was budgeted and where we stand vis-à-vis that. The numbers at Northville are somewhat higher now than the numbers at Helen Plain. So we're looking at a couple of options. One might be a move, or the other might be an addition.
So we're really tightly looking at that and
Yep.
making some decisions before the start of school if such decisions need to be made.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You could just you'll keep us updated, right,
Yep.
as far as that's concerned?
We haven't
before
made
school
any
starts?
final decisions, but we've been talking with both of the principals and watching the numbers daily. So.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we tend to get a lot of late registrations.
I know,
in-
and that's my fear, because
with
right now,
kindergarten.
we're holding at a pretty high level for kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My desire, if we have to make adjustments, is to make them before school starts, even though that requires a certain amount of shuffling and changing of class assignments.
And I know that they've already been,
Yeah.
parents have
But
already
if
been
we
notified of
wait,
their teachers'
if we
assignments.
wait until several weeks into the school year and then
Then it's
have to do
disruptive.
it, then it's even worse.
Agreed.
So we're watching it
Agreed.
carefully, and I suspect we'll deal with it this week, and we'll let you know.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, 10B, monthly reports, budget position, purchase resolution D 713, and request for budget transfers. How we looking?
It's really early to tell.
Yeah.
So I'd like to make a few comments. So if you take a look at the budget position listing in combination with the purchase resolution, you'll see that through the month of July, we're encumbering for a lot of goods and services. Some that we're not necessarily paying the bill up front, that's encumbering for the entire year. Those are marked as yearlies on the purchase resolution. If you look at the budget
Yep,
position
yep.
listing,
Mhm.
the certified and non-certified salaries, through the month of July, we started encumbering for them. We're not fully encumbered by the end of July 31st, as of the date of this report. So we've continued to encumber those salaries through August. And after the first paycheck to teachers, which is on August 31st, we'll be able to prove out those encumbrances and check their accuracy. Other notes on the purchase resolution, this time of year, the report is quite large since we're encumbering for those at the start of the year. So you see, instead of being in dollar order, they are in alphabetical order by vendor. So you can find the, let's say, Eversource for electricity, all those ones in one section right next to each other versus going hunting through 4 pages. of
Well, thank you.
documents. You're welcome. And the.
How about the font? A little bigger yet?
Couldn't fit it this time. The transfer report, those are ones that we made adjustments at the end of the year. Remember, we had $1.2 million in adjustments from the board adopted to the final budget. There were a bunch of motions at that special meeting, and those then went back against some of the locations. So these were 2 areas where we cut too much perhaps from one location, from one line item within a location, and after discussing with those principals, they needed to shift small dollar amounts around.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments there? JT?
Quick question, Roberta, maybe you can field the question here. I see the Chromebooks that are in here, 400 Chromebooks, and I see also the Chrome licenses. I'm just curious, the Chromebooks, that works out to 169 apiece, is that right?
Right, we entered into a consortium purchase with Ed Advance, actually, they put it together for a bunch of schools. So instead of anywhere between $230 and $250, we were able to buy them for about $169. And then the licenses, they they return them once we deactivate a Chromebook. So we had an excess of 100 licenses, so we only needed 300.
Now, I'm curious, because I know the Chrome licenses are usually 3 years long. Is that price then, the $23 here and change, is that for 3 years, or is that for the?
It's 3.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Another advantage of using EdAdvantage.
Bulk purchasing, right,
Purchasing.
Yep.
That was a nice program.
Yeah, great.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the year-end balance, unaudited.
So the last time we discussed our year-end balance, we were projecting $294,160. At that same time, we still had open encumbrances to pay bills through the month of June. In the first 2 months of July, as those bills came in, and we did a soft close on the Board of Ed side, we had more money than we needed encumbered. So out of that $697,298, we were over encumbered by roughly $52,000 that we did not owe to vendors. So that falls to our bottom line. So if you take the previously stated $294,160, add the amount we didn't owe to vendors at the end of the year, brings our unaudited year-end balance to $346,753, or 0.55% of our budget. In the rear of the memo, I try to put that in context of where we've been historically over the last 10 years.
It's about more than 0.5%.
Yes.
Correct. And then
Good
we'll-
job.
And then we'll,
Yeah,
of course, do
yeah.
the normal follow-up on it and bring it
Right, we'll
forward.
have to wait for the official audit and bring back to operations. Joe?
It's somewhat nice to see we have that little bit of cushion in there. That's taking out the $450,000 that we donated to the town,
That is active.
which speaks volumes about this board helping out the town and the community. And at the very least, I think that council owes us a gift card or a thank you letter. I'm picking on the council tonight. At least some appreciation for us stepping up and helping.
Well, I think we have a lot of opportunity coming up in the near future.
The other thing I'm just going to throw out there, and it doesn't come up often enough, but it's been discussed in some of the other committees, is that we need money for those turf fields 10 years out.
Mhm.
And there's been discussion, and I think it should continue, that if we have these end-of-year balances, that a percentage of it go toward those funds. We're going to need $1 million in less than 10 years now to replace the carpet. And we got to come find money, otherwise we're going to have a problem.
No,
And other people have suggested it, I believe Ms. Fallenbach has brought that up, that perhaps we need to take a closer
yeah,
look at
we need to start substantially
funding it, because we're behind, it's 2 years in now,
Yeah,
and that means that's $200,000. We don't have to put aside for something. Technically, you're going to get about 12 years out of the carpet. but
well,
they say
still, we
10.
don't want to have a special appropriations to deal with that.
Right, so it's just a thought.
Right, and we have had that discussion about end-of-the-year balance, and of course, that's a board decision
Mhm.
when you make that motion. But with all of the projects that we have up and coming, to try and carve out every year, putting money into that fund. And if we do have an end-of-the-year balance, this would be a good opportunity, a good time to start. So perhaps in September, board members could give some thought as to, what the projects we have, and if we can carve
Yeah.
out some money.
We need to
bring
sort
it in.
things out, Angie?
I just want to go on record again. We had that end of the year balance and able to pay the town because we consciously didn't hire
Absolutely.
people and because we consciously didn't spend money that we had allotted. So I don't want people to think we just had that sitting around. That was, we consciously made choices to be able to do that.
That's
So,
correct. We
again,
did
I
not
want
fill,
that to go
we
on
did not fill
record.
positions, et cetera.
That's an outstanding point. We did not fill positions, and while we have those conversations at operations, a little bit at the board, that $450,000 came through a real collaborative effort of looking through our budget and seeing what we could hold off on to make sure that we paid that. and we did that, so I appreciate it.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Dave?
Yeah, yes.
It's my understanding that we have a turf field committee, right, or the town has a turf field committee? Have there, I don't, you guys are.
I'm on it. Mr. Dahl's on it.
Are there discussions of fundraising?
Yes.
So that we don't have to be dipping so much into our capital, which as we know is so important for a lot of other things in our district, so that this doesn't just fall to the Board of Education capital funds to replace this $1 million field?
Well, I'm going to bring us back to the agenda items, and we'll leave the turf field with the operations committee at this point.
We could always bring an update to the
Yeah,
operations committee.
yeah,
Not a bad idea.
I would
Yep.
appreciate that, just to kind of see where we are with, especially any fundraising initiatives
Right.
for that field.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And anything else on the end of the year balance? Okay, so, and D, K2 behavioral supports.
Well, we had Ms. Olson came to speak to the operations committee about moving some dollars within her budget, and perhaps you'd like to give it
Yeah,
over
I
to
was gonna
the
say.
full board. I think that'd be great.
And I've come to you for the past 2 years, really talking about the mental health needs of our youngest students. And you were very supportive of our ESS program at the high school, which continues to keep kids in our district, giving them the therapeutic supports that they need. But we still have this young pocket of children who are coming through the system who are really unsupported in terms of therapeutic interventions and really kind of that wraparound service. So due to the fact that we can transfer funds within our purchase service line, and I'll explain to you why, we can contract through a vendor, and it happens to be ESS, even though it is a different type of a program, and provide services at Northville School to a few identified students who really do require that wraparound service for behavioral intervention, for support, for a clinical licensed social worker to actually work within the building, provide services to not only to that program and to those children, but also for the staff, so that they have more positive interventions for the children. There'd be more training. I don't know if you remember Nurtured Heart, but that was a program that we rolled out last year. It would be that type of training for not only the teachers in the program, but also for the school and also for some of the staff at Hill and Plain. So we could actually, identify the K2 population, not just Northville. So in terms of the contracted or purchase services piece, our Litchfield Hills Transition Program, which last year was bursting at the seams, has seen a decrease. And we weren't really privy to that until we had PPTs in June, and some of the things fell into place or out of place, so that we do have this amount of money available in our purchase service line that we can contract with ESS and bring in a clinician and supervision and really additional supports for the school.
Thank you. Brian, then Wendy?
I was really happy to see this because during budget season, I remember in your report you mentioned that we weren't putting this into the budget, so I'm glad to see that it's made it in there because it certainly is needed for our younger students.
Wendy?
And just a clarification, basically, this is already in our budget, so to speak. So
Right.
I don't
It's-
want
yeah.
individuals to think that we're adding it. We're reallocating funds and assessing where the needs are. So we thought that the best approach was to make this as transparent as possible, let the board understand, why we are reallocating those funds, and that this is cost neutral to the board. It's just reassessing.
Yeah, and we'll be getting plenty of transfers, I'm sure, within the next couple of months. Yes, sir.
Just to follow up on that, the memo serves as where special education is moving in that direction to get this going before the beginning of school. A transfer will be in next month's packet.
Okay.
It's going to be on the lower
Right.
section of the budget transfer report, which we provide to you as informational only, because it is not going across major object code. So you will see a transfer next month associated with that. But Mrs. Olson is laying out, here's the program that we're engaging on, and you're going to see the transfer as an item of information later, but we're putting it in the correct order, so you have well-known advance of it.
But it's still under the purchase service.
Correct,
Correct?
yep.
Okay.
And this was past practice too, we've done with ESS, it was the $270,000 reallocated, it was cost neutral at the time, when we started ESS at the high school, right? So I can support that. Could I just ask two clarifying questions? The decrease in enrollment at Litchfield Hills, how many students then are we expecting to have there in that program this year?
Well, we, right now 10.
Okay, and that was budgeted up to 18?
We
was
had
it, or-
18.
Okay, all right.
So that's
So
a
it's just
major
gonna-
shift for us, and it is cyclical too. There'll
Sure.
be, different times throughout the next few years where the numbers will go back up and then we adjust. So that's what we do.
Do we have any tuition students at Litchfield?
Not next year.
Okay,
No,
all
we
right.
don't.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, well, then at this time, my goodness, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second. Or so moved.
We got a second first, I like that. Any discussion? Those in favor? And that's unanimous. Thank you, everybody.